name is Bernstein, and today I will be teaching you all how to become a successful cross-country coach. At the end of my presentation, each of you will be able to identify the right and the wrong way to coach your cross-country team. I'm a collegiate runner that has been coached by Olympians. I've also been coached by people who have coached those Olympians, and I know lots of very successful runners and talk to them about their philosophies about running, and I've also studied the sport of running for about 12 years now. Coaching a cross-country team requires thoughtfulness after thoroughly researching the sport and establishing your own coaching theories. The most important thing about coaching a cross-country team is that you should be able to communicate with your athletes. First of all, you should always be in your office at least as much as possible so that your athletes know that there's always a spot that they can find you in case they need to talk about something important. You should always answer their phone calls so that they know that you care about them. You should just always be reachable. It's really important that your athlete knows that you're there for them and that they can go to you whenever they have a problem, or even if they just want to talk to you, even if they don't have a problem. You should be able to handle criticism well. For example, if an athlete thinks they need to take a day off of running, even if your schedule says that it's a long run day, you shouldn't get offended by it. Like, you should tell them that they should listen to their own body, and if they think that they need a day off, then they probably do need a day off. Also, if an athlete comes to you and tells you that they're injured, you should not get mad at them, even though you know it might hurt their team and hurt your team. You should know that they obviously didn't want to get injured and that they're really upset that they're injured. Also, when an athlete comes to you with a problem, per se performance anxiety, you shouldn't get mad about that because, for example, Ryan Hall, who's an Olympic marathoner, suffered from performance anxiety in college. And he ultimately decided to leave college because his coach just didn't understand, and he got upset and thought that it was just an excuse for his poor performance, so he decided to leave college, and obviously he became successful after that because now he's an Olympic marathoner and he's the best American marathoner currently. Also, you should learn from the pros. You should take ideas from other people who have had success. You should adapt ideas from those professional runners. You should study the sport of running. For example, in this book, The Quotable Runner, Arthur Lydiard stated that his definition of a great runner is someone who helps you improve but leaves something in the bank and also instills love of the sport as you move on. Plus, one hopes someone who teaches you something about life in the process. Arthur Lydiard was a runner from New Zealand, and he's coached a lot of Olympian runners, and he's really well known in the running world. Like, everyone knows him as a really great coach. For example, his nickname is the Maker of Champions, so a lot of people study his theories and learn from him. You should also be excited. You should always have a positive attitude. When talking to your athletes, you should try to motivate them and show how excited you are. For example, if your athlete wins a race, you should show your excitement just so they feel special and so they feel good about winning that race. You should send them motivating and positive emails so that they're excited to go out and run a good race. Not for them, not even just for them, but for the team, because they know how excited you will be when they have a good race. For example, if an athlete is injured, instead of getting upset with them, try to put yourself in their shoes. For example, if you were injured before, try to remember how upset you were that you couldn't run, and instead of getting upset at your athlete, send them an email that will make them feel like they're still part of a team. Like this email that I'm about to read to you. Steve Jones, the University of Colorado cross-country coach, sent this to George Torres before he was trying to make the Olympic team in 2008. He got injured, so he wasn't able to qualify for the Olympic team. And he sent him this email. It says, I know that it can be hard to remain motivated at times like this. I know how badly you want to run, and believe me, I want that for you too. What doesn't kill us really does make us stronger. Keep your head up and keep fighting through this. It's okay to take a few days off and get away from the cross training. The most important thing is letting this heal up. I think it's encouraging that we know that there is something actually going on there. It's the not knowing and wondering why you have the pain that sucks the most. Now we know, and we also know that by letting this heal, we can put it behind us once and for all and get back to training. You've got to carry your cross with dignity. You will beat this and you will come back stronger than ever. Being good at our sport requires walking on the edge of healthy and injured. Many athletes deal with injuries. In fact, most of the great ones do. This is your challenge in the here and now. You've got to be committed to working hard on the cross training, working hard with the trainers, and really listening to your body. Remember this, you are going to beat this and the sun will shine again. Keep the faith. As I said before I read it, that's what Steve Jones, the University of Colorado coach, sent to George Torres while he trained extremely hard and trying to make the Olympic team, and then he failed to qualify because he couldn't even compete in the trials because he was injured. Do you understand why that's a great email to send to your athletes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. I just think it's important to let your athletes know that they're still part of the team when they're injured, and even though they're injured, okay, we're done. I was gonna say the exact same thing that I said. I was gonna say it's important. You can even do things like show them inspirational films, show them films about running, or just so they get so motivated to run races. Also, you should trust your athletes, because a good coach can sense if there are problems. For example, a runner, like as I stated before, like Ryan Hall, a professional runner, suffered from performance anxiety, and sometimes a coach can mistake like having performance anxiety with like just totally losing interest in running and doing things that will make your running suffer. Like, for example, like if someone parties too much, obviously the coach should be able to tell whether they're partying too much or if they're going through performance anxiety. Also, you should never doubt an injury. If a runner says that they're injured, you should believe them and don't think that they're faking it, because usually runners don't fake injuries. Also, you should be very knowledgeable about the sport of running. You should know, like, for example, who's broken a world record lately. It gets the team excited that there's such fast times being run. You should also know runners other than the ones that your team normally competes against. Like, for example, if you run in the Big Ten conference, you should also know the other runners that are really fast nationally other than just the ones that you compete against, just because it makes your athletes excited to see how fast other people can run. As I stated earlier, coaching a cross-country team requires thoughtfulness after thoroughly researching the sport and establishing your own coaching theories. And I hope you all have a better idea of how to successfully coach a cross-country team. Do you guys have any questions today?
I have a question. Like, what is like an example of like something a coach has done previously in your life that would be like a positive kind of example of like what you said that a good coach should do?
Well, yeah, like my high school coach would send me really motivating emails before I would race, and also after I would race. What made me really happy is when my coaches would like compare me, like say I was a freshman in college, my coach would tell me like, oh, don't worry that you're not running this fast, like this girl who qualified for the Olympics ran slower her freshman year in college than you did, and that just made me excited that I can get that good at running.